Oi, eu sou a Bia e hoje eu trago mais uma entrevista aqui pro canal, né, pra vocês conferirem em primeira mão. Conversamos com a Kate, né, ela é a atriz que interpreta a Mia, né, em Resident Evil 7, Biohazard e também em Resident Evil Village, né. Antes de começar esse vídeo, eu vou pedir pra você se inscrever aqui no canal, deixar o seu like para ajudar, para poder que o YouTube, né, veja relevância no vídeo e entregue ele para outras pessoas, gente. Deu muito trabalho fazer essa entrevista, né? Inclusive também quero agradecer ao jogador X-Arts, né, que é o nosso editor e ilustrador, né, ele também fez várias coisas lá pro canal, tanto a identidade visual, e inclusive faz as traduções em PTBR, né, dos diversos vídeos que eu posto lá no Instagram. Ele traduziu a entrevista da Kate, eu sou muito grata a ele, né, a entrevista tá traduzindo em PTBR, tá? E é isso, galera, eu vou passar aqui a entrevista para vocês conferirem, valeu? Mais uma vez, né, eu quero agradecer a Kate, né, muito obrigada mesmo por ter aceitado fazer essa entrevista com a gente, né, eu adorei, do início ao fim. E para começar, eu gostaria de saber como você iniciou a sua carreira artística, né? Como você começou na dublagem, como você começou na atuação. Conta pra gente.
I have always been very outgoing, and I was in dance when I was young and did lots of sports. So I always loved entertaining. And then when I was in grade school, I actually was in I started in plays. So what got me started was actually theater. So I started with theater and I did like a little one, and then the school musical came up and I auditioned for that, and it was Oliver Twist. And I actually got cast as Oliver, which was really cool. So, you know, that was the first time I really had to learn a lot of lines and singing and choreography and all these different things. And it came so easy to me. Like, I love doing all of it so much. So that was really fun. And from there, I just wanted to keep doing it. So I proceeded to do every musical that was available. I went out for any plays, any shows. I even started looking into community theater. And then into high school, same thing. Did all the theater, did the musicals, did the plays, also did some sports, but I just kept loving it so much. And it wasn't until college that I got a job as a live action specialist. So I was a stunt woman at a theme park, but they wanted to shoot a commercial for their little theme park back in Illinois. And so I was in it because I worked there, but that was my first taste of like actually having a camera and, you know, action and cut and different things. So that was really cool. And I realized I wanted to also pursue that. So yeah, so it pushed me to that. And then I started doing more television, film, moved out to LA. But when it comes to voice acting and dubbing, I didn't really know how to get started doing that. So I just, you know, I always auditioned for stuff. I send things out there and hope. And Resident Evil, I submitted myself and I got the audition and it was great. And then I ended up getting the part. So that was the first time I really got to do any voice work. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Em que ano e como surgiu a oportunidade de interpretar Mia Winters em Resident Evil 7?
Okay, so Resident Evil 7 Biohazard and Mia. So I had seen a casting call in 2014. Now, granted, it didn't say Resident Evil, it didn't say Capcom, it didn't even say Mia. Like, it just was looking for like a demonic possessed woman. So I submitted for it. So that was in 2014. I did my auditions then. I got cast and I did my first shoot in the beginning of 2015. So 2015, I worked on the kitchen demo. Still, all I knew was it was like specifically for VR, which I thought was so cool because it was very different. So yeah, we did the kitchen demo and then they told me, you know, if it's a go for the full version of the game, they'll let me know. And a couple months later, it was a go. And so I got to audition with a bunch of guys as possible, Ethan. So that's when I met Todd. And then we started shooting. And over the next 2 years, we worked on and shot Resident Evil. It was about a year in when I found out it was actually Resident Evil. So that was interesting. But yeah, it's been such a blessing and amazing in this time of everything that's happened between Resident Evil Biohazard and Resident Evil Village. So I'm just happy Mia is still around. I did know about Resident Evil. So before I started working with Resident Evil 7, I didn't know I was working on Resident Evil, but once I found out, I knew how big it was because I grew up in the 80s and 90s. So I was, a teenager when Resident Evil, the first one came out. 26 years now. It'll be 26 years this year. That's crazy. So yes, I was alive. I knew of that game very well. I wasn't a big gamer, but I knew people who played it, and I knew of the game and I knew of the characters. And then the movies came out, which I know, don't yell at me, I know they're very different, but still, you just see how big the franchise is when it's got games and movies. And now, I mean, we got shows on Netflix and newer movies coming out. So it's all very exciting how Resident Evil has just grown so much.
A Mia tem monte de cenas hilárias em Resident Evil 7, né? Uma ela tá surtada, né? Com aquele início super frenético. Outra ela tá assustada, com medo. A Capcom acertou em cheio em contratar você. Conta pra gente como que foi o processo de performance da Mia, né? Como que foi dar vida, né, a ela?
I think a lot of it, because my first audition was very specifically for the possessed demonic version, that was almost easier because I knew that's what they were looking for. And I felt confident that that's what I could give. And I really enjoy playing zombies and demons and things that get to make creepy noises, if that makes any sense. So it was really cool to be able to have a chance to do all that and crawl around on a stage and try to scare people. So possessed Mia actually came really easy to me, more so than normal Mia. With normal Mia, it was just a little bit more of understanding her backstory as much as I could get of, she's been trapped for 3 years. She's been missing. There's something possessing her, but not taking full control. So she's trying to fight it. So that back and forth and that push and pull. So that was really, really cool to be able to do that for 7. And then even going forward, through Village, you got an even softer side of Mia. You got a much more motherly, she really cares about family. She's not as selfish as she was in 7. So you get this whole spectrum with Mia, which was really fun to be able to play her and to be able to have the chance to show all those different sides to one character.
No seu Instagram, que recentemente você jogou o Resident Evil 7, né, Biohazard em VR. Como que foi a experiência? Conta pra gente.
So I just started. I'm going to be streaming on my Twitch channel, me playing Resident Evil 7 in VR, because I think that would be really fun. I'm finally getting to witness the full fear that I apparently have put into others. So I'm really excited to do it, but I of course had to do test runs because I am not very good at playing video games. So I started test runs to see A, if I could handle VR, and B, if I could understand the controller. And it was terrifying. It was so scary. I don't know how I'm going to stream it live because it's really, really scary. I always knew it was scary, but actually putting the headset on and having Mia in your face and chainsawing you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone that I did that to.
Você teve alguma dificuldade durante o processo de mocap da Mia?
I wouldn't say difficulties. The language barrier was definitely hard because with Resident Evil 7, our director was from New York and he would come into LA, and then a lot of the crew was from LA. A lot of the actors are American, but then you have Capcom, who they're from Japan, and most of them, only speak Japanese. So we had a translator on set. So there was a lot. I would say the most difficult part was just trying to get all the feedback from Capcom through the translator, but also from our director, and then them going through the translator and making sure that Capcom and the director and everybody is in agreement of what they want. And then it comes to the actor. And we get to try to bring that vision to life. So that was new for me. It wasn't totally new because I actually lived in Japan and worked there for a year at Tokyo Disneyland. So I was a little used to working with translators and having to kind of figure out what they're really looking for, but still it's not the easiest. So trying to bring to life something through many levels was probably the most difficult part.
O Resident Evil 7 Biohazard já ultrapassa, né, os 10 milhões de vendas, né? É o jogo de Resident Evil mais vendido da Capcom. Conta pra gente do que você mais se orgulha nesse jogo.
Oh gosh, I'm still shocked that I am part of this game. I'm still in shock that I am now part of this family. It's really amazing. So that's really cool. I think I'm just most proud of the game itself. I'm proud that 7 brought Resident Evil back to horror, where it originally started. Every game, every franchise needs to evolve. And, you know, Resident Evil has gone through many different things throughout the years, and it was cool to be a part of bringing it back to its roots with the horror. So I was really, really proud to do that, but also the fact that it's in VR, because as technology advances, you know, everybody wants to try new things and really wants to be a part of something. And when you get to play a game in VR, it's like you are literally there. So the horror and the VR, I just think are so cool. So really proud that I got to be a part of it and that it was, you know, in these new levels for people, new and old.
Como foi, né, a sua reação ao ver as cenas da Mia em Resident Evil 7, né? Depois que o jogo já ficou pronto, né? Teve alguma cena que você curtiu demais?
The first time I saw any scenes of mine were actually from the kitchen demo. So before Resident Evil 7 even was, you know, on the map, the kitchen demo had come out. And so I got to go online and see people reacting to it, which was really, really exciting. Hearing grown men scream, like the highest pitched screams I've ever heard. That was really cool. And yeah, just, it was trippy because she sounds like me, she moves like me, but she doesn't look like me. So that was weird. And then when the game came out and I finally saw scenes, it was amazing to think that, you know, what I did on that stage, what us as the actors did in our motion capture suits and everything, and then going into the ADR booths and how everything was pieced together and then came to this game and seeing the scenes, it was, yeah, it was like a dream come true for me. So it was really, really exciting.
O que você achou da Mia nos dois jogos?
I'm a little biased. I love Mia. I know people are torn on her. I like her. But with both games, so I agree with people. In 7, she is selfish. You know, she took a job, she went off, did all these things without really letting her husband know. And so, you know, she was a bit selfish. And through 7, you kind of see her realize that, and you see her turn to wanting to save Ethan, wanting to save everyone else. And then by the end of it, you know, you really get that she has realized that she messed up and, you know, the only important person to her is Ethan. And then you get to 8 and you get even more of that. When you get to Resident Evil Village, you're seeing Mia in such a family light. Like for her, the only thing that matters is Ethan and Rose. So you're just seeing such a strong familial bond, and she will do anything to protect them. Now, granted, she keeps getting captured and locked away. Not a fan of that, but you know, when she does get the chance to do stuff, it is all about protecting her family and in wanting to save her family. So I kind of get it. She might not have gone about it in the best ways, but I get it.
Quando que surgiu a oportunidade, né, de interpretar a Mia no Resident Evil Village? Você esperava que ela tivesse uma continuação?
Oh, goodness. So I did not expect a sequel. I think in this industry, you're just happy for the jobs you get. You never expect it to go further or more. You're always grateful if it does. You're hopeful. For me, the biggest thing was Mia not dying at the end of 7. In the back of my head, I was like, so you're saying there's a chance? Because, you know, if she wasn't flat out killed, then at least there's a chance for her to come back someday. But I never really thought that it was a possibility. And then in 2019, I got a phone call saying that they're working on a new game and Mia and Ethan are coming back, and would I like to reprise her role? And of course I said yes. I was so excited. And yeah, so it was just that phone call of being told it's happening. But they said, they're like, we don't know how much she'll be in it. We don't know really the full storyline yet. So you'll just have to wait and see, which I did. So yeah, I found out early 2019 and then I shot my first stuff probably late 2019. So yeah, and then some in 2020. So it was crazy. It was a crazy ride, but I'm very, very grateful that she's still around. And now I get a new Mia look, the mom look, which is always fun. I was really excited. I think I might've been overtly excited because when the producers called me and said, she's coming back, do you want to play her? I just immediately said yes, with no thought of anything else. And then afterwards I was like, oh, I need to talk to my agent and let them know. So I talked to my agent, but I basically told him like, hey, I already accepted this. So whatever you guys want to do, cool. But I want to play Mia again. So yeah, I was very, very excited. I was excited to get to do motion capture again. I was excited to get to see Todd again, my Ethan, and then to find out that they're married with a kid and there was going to be a baby. Like, it was just exciting. And then as it went on to learn more about what Village was about, it was so cool because it's such a dark fairy tale, and that's definitely my vibe. So I really liked it.
Adorei, né, a cena ali de início do Resident Evil Village, né, quando o Chris chega e pá, faz o que faz com a Mia, né? Qual foi sua reação quando você viu o que aconteceu e qual foi sua reação depois que você descobriu que ele não era a Mia?
So I originally just got the scene that we were going to be shooting. So I did not know it was Mother Miranda. I thought it originally, when I first read the scene, I thought it was Mia and that they killed her off just right away. So I was really bummed. I was really, really sad. But I was still excited. I was like, hey, I have a day of, shooting. I'll get to see people. Like, this will be really cool. So I went in for that day of work and, saw some of the other people. We were setting up the different scenes. And I was talking with Todd and saying how bummed I was that they were killing Mia off so soon. And Todd just kind of looked at me and was like, you don't really know, do you? And I was so confused. And then he told me, he's like, yeah, that's not you. And then the director filled me in a little bit more, but they didn't want to let me know too much because I still needed to play it as Mia. And, there needed to be hints that there was something wrong, but not flat out where like you as the player would know it's not Mia. So the whole goal of that was making sure everybody was like, something's off, but they couldn't quite figure out what it was. So I think we nailed it because I had a lot of people when the trailer came out and Mia was killed in the trailer. A lot of people messaged me saying how sad they were, and I couldn't say anything because by then I knew.
O que você achou da cena final de Resident Evil Village?
That final scene is heartbreaking. The final scene in Resident Evil Village, shooting it was heartbreaking. I definitely actually teared up. And then the first time I actually saw the scene, I saw a clip of it once the game came out. I actually cried. Now I can watch it without crying, like flat out crying, but I actually cried. It was really sad, growing to love this character, growing to love, Mia and Ethan, and seeing that Mia and Ethan never got their goodbye. They never got like an end, to me was really, really heartbreaking. But also on top of it, Todd did such a good job with Ethan and bringing to life this character, this father who would do anything for his daughter. And seeing that scene where he knows he just needs to give Rose to Chris, and Chris just needs to bring her back to Mia. I still get choked up a little. It's a very touching scene. I think the creators, the writers did a great job at making people feel something. Because I know I did. So yeah, I don't want to get too sappy.
De todas as falas da Mia, né? Dos dois jogos, qual a fala que você mais curte?
I think there are a lot of lines of Mia's I absolutely love. From the first game, from 7, if I can't swear, you can just bleep this out. But when she goes from normal to crazy with Ethan, and she's just like, you shouldn't have done that. It fucking hurt. And just stabs him with the screwdriver. I love, love, love that line. From Village, let's see. I love poor Ethan when she's technically Mother Miranda, but looking like Mia, when she's just like, poor Ethan. It's so villainous and evil queen. Like, I love that line. I also love you're just being paranoid, because that's so, I think all the Mia lines I like from Village are when she's technically Miranda, because there's just something so like underlyingly evil with that. So I'm a fan of those lines for sure. Yeah. And then anytime she gets to scream at Chris is fun, push him. That's always good.
O que você achou da Mia como mãe? Você achou que ela teria essa continuidade, que ela iria se tornar mãe?
Mia as a mother definitely did not. I mean, after Resident Evil 7, I don't think I had any idea of like what they would do next. You know, 7 kind of ends with you thinking, okay, it's done. Like the BSAA and Chris show up and fly him off. And in my mind, it was like, all right, well, now they're probably stuck in a facility somewhere because of everything that happened. But I never really had a thought of what a second game would be. So when it did come about, and when they did tell me, you know, they have a daughter and all that stuff, I was just kind of excited, because I knew it was going to be a different side of Mia I was going to get to play. So I was more excited about that. I never in a million years could have guessed that that's where it was going to go. But, you know, we saw Mia find her importance in family. At the end of 7, you saw it with Ethan, and then throughout Village, you see it with Rose and Ethan. Like, she's just trying to protect everyone. So, yeah, I liked being able to do that and show that side of her.
Mais uma vez, eu gostaria muito de agradecer você pelo carinho, né? E agradecer a toda a minha galera que assistiu a entrevista até aqui. Obrigada mesmo, gente. Eu também queria pedir, né, para você enviar um recado aqui pra galera, pra comunidade Resident Evil no Brasil. Pode ficar à vontade também.
Resident Evil has now brought me this new family. They've brought me into this community that has been so beyond welcoming and loving and supporting. It's really amazing. I got into acting because I wanted to give to people. I wanted to be able to give something to people where they could step away from their lives for a little bit and just be entertained. And that's what always drew me to acting. And with Resident Evil, it's the first time that I've really seen it. So many people in the community have reached out and talked about their experiences with the games, how the games helped them, how it brought things out in them, how they recognized and felt for different characters. So it was really, it's really been amazing. It's been not overwhelming in a bad way, but overwhelming in a good way, because it's something I never could have imagined. So I just want to say thank you to the RE community. Thank you for welcoming me in as this new character from 7. I can't believe it's been 5 years. Happy 5-year anniversary, RE7. It's amazing. It was such a huge part of my life and still continues to be. And I'm just so, so, so grateful for that. And, you know, I'm here because of you guys. I'm here because of this community, because you guys want to talk with us and meet us and hear about our stories and about the characters and you want to play the games, because if you didn't want to play the games, they wouldn't make them. And then I wouldn't get to play fun characters. So, I mean, it's like this big circle, like everybody's a part of it. You can't have one without the other. So thank you guys so much. Brazil, I know you guys are amazing, amazing, amazing fans. I get so much love from Brazil, so I want to give all my love back. Thank you guys for everything you do. And yeah, just thank you. I guess lastly, I just say, if you don't already, I love to keep the community and fans up to date on my Instagram and my Twitter at KDOAX, but I also now have a Twitch channel. So on Sunday nights, I do story time with Mia. So I read bedtime stories, usually on the scary side, as Mia Winters. So that's every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So I do that on my Twitch channel, and I'm going to start streaming RE7 in VR soon. So if you're not, you can always join. It's twitch.tv/KDOAX. Thank you. Love you guys. RE for life.
Gente, essa entrevista foi incrível, eu adorei demais, né? Mais uma vez quero agradecer a Kate, quero saber você que assistiu até agora, não esqueça de deixar o seu like, né? E de divulgar essa entrevista para outros fãs da comunidade, né? Para que eles possam conhecer um pouco mais, né, dos atores que interpretam os personagens nos jogos, né? E é isso, um beijo e até o próximo vídeo. Tchau!